It has been so long since I've done a Masters of Horror. I think it's been like 4 months. Like, we're going on half a year here. Hey there, creepy peeps. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome back. If you are returning, like the title says, we're doing a Masters of Horror. Really quick, I guess, if you're a newer creepy peep, like within the last 4 months, and you haven't seen a Masters of Horror yet, it's a like tag that I kind of like quasi created. Essentially, I just stole a bunch of questions from a bunch of different tags and I apply it to horror directors, which I'm also thinking about. Let me know in the comments if you'd want this, expanding this, like opening it up to not just directors, but like screenwriters, authors, special effects artists. Let me know. I will link the playlist up here if you want to watch some other ones. If you, like I said, if you haven't seen these before, you can see what other directors I've talked about. So as we are coming up on his birthday in a few days, I think it's this coming weekend, I thought we could talk about Tobe Hooper. Tobe Hooper was born January 25th of 1943 and passed on August 26th of 2017. He's most well known for his films Poltergeist and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is going to baffle some of y'all, and it's probably gonna get me tons of hate in the comments. I always say that and it never gets me any hate, so I don't know why I'm worried. But my favorite Tobe Hooper film is actually Poltergeist. I know. I just so happen to like Poltergeist a little bit more than Texas Chainsaw. That's all. And that's not to say that Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't iconic and legendary and extremely influential, because it is. Plus there is all that drama over who actually directed the majority of Poltergeist, whether it was Tobe Hooper or Steven Spielberg. But there is just something about a haunted house that's scarier to me than like backwoods, redneck, cannibal family. Like, home is meant to be your safe space. So movies that fuck with that tend to scare me a little bit more, because it's like, you know, it's harder to get away from your home, I guess. I mean, in an emergency, you really could get away from your home, obviously, but it's basically what I'm trying to say is it's a lot easier for me to just not drive on back roads and pick up creepy hitchhikers. And also, I'm a bit more invested in the safety and the well-being of the Freeling family than I am Sally and her friends, because I'm gonna be honest, Sally's friends are kind of irritating. I'm most definitely probably gonna get hate for saying this though, my least favorite Tobe Hooper film that I've seen so far. Mind you, I haven't watched every single one of his films, but out of the ones I have watched, my least favorite is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. I do understand the reason for like the tonal shift in that movie. I get why Hooper did it that way, why he wanted to do it that way. It was intentional. I understand. I just don't like it. You know, you can't win everybody over, you know? That being said though, let's get into what my favorite kills / scenes are, and I have one of each here. One favorite kill, one favorite scene. In terms of my favorite scene, it's a scene in Life Force, which maybe will surprise some of you because I wasn't like fully jazzed about that movie. It was okay, but it's a scene where the dried up, shriveled alien vampire corpse comes alive and like sucks the life force out of like those doctors or whatever in that operating room. I understand that that's also technically a kill, so that can be kind of confusing, but I don't particularly like the scene because of the kill per se. I like it because of the way that the dried up alien vampire corpse looks, because they look really cool and really creepy. Like, honestly, if I was alone in a room with something that looked like that, I'd shit my pants. I also understand that Tobe Hooper obviously had nothing to do with how they looked. He wasn't the makeup effects artist or creature designer on that movie, but he directed it, so it counts, okay? It counts. My favorite kill, though, is actually from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's Franklin's death. Not only is it a nice kind of little jump scare scene, Leatherface just kind of pops out of nowhere and gets him with the chainsaw. It's just really satisfying to see Franklin go. I know that sounds mean, but I also know that there are going to be some of you in the comments that agree with me that Franklin is annoying as fuck. I don't know whether that was intentional or not, but damn, I was so happy when Leatherface shut him up.
If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it.
Now, I can't find the exact source of this one, like when and where Tobe Hooper said this, but my favorite quote from this director goes as follows. I don't believe in using too much graphic violence, although I've done it. It's better to be suggestive and to allow the viewer to fill in the blanks in their minds. Like, I mean, it's simple and like a little bit obvious. I mean, that's something that has been said many times, and it's very subjective. Obviously, that's up to the viewer, what they find scary. Just love that Hooper in particular said this or talked about this because of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is famous for many things, but one of the things that it's famous for is not actually showing that much like blood and gore. It is very suggestive of violence. And it's that suggestion of violence that makes it seem like it's more intense than it actually is. Like, it's still intense, but it's like when you actually sit and think about it, you don't see that much. You guys know what I mean. So it's partly because of that quote why I like Tobe Hooper as a director. He's made some truly terrifying films without actually showing all this graphic violence and tons of blood and gore, which, don't get me wrong, I do like my blood and gore, but you know, it's cool to see a director who can master scaring people without showing all of that. On the other hand, I don't always like Tobe Hooper's films. The ones I tend to not like, it seems, I'm just guessing, just based on the ones that I've rated lower. I think I don't particularly like him when it's a movie that's extremely over the top, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and like Life Force. And I didn't rate those movies extremely low. I gave them both 3 out of 5s. They don't hold a candle to like Poltergeist or Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me, just because they kind of go over that line a little bit of being a little bit too silly and ridiculous, I guess. And I understand, like I said, I understand the reasoning for it. It's just not my cup of tea. Usually I have to be in a particular mood for that. I don't always like his movies. I'm not a full-on fan to where I think he can do no wrong, but yeah, it's hit or miss with me. There are still quite a few Tobe Hooper movies that I haven't seen, so if you like a movie from him that I didn't mention in this video, please let me know in the comment section so I can put it in my watch list. And let me know what you think about Tobe Hooper as a director. Love him, hate him, why, what's your favorite movie by him, what's your least favorite movie. I do want to thank my patrons for their support of my channel. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. But even if you just watched this video and you liked it, if you could give it a thumbs up, that really does help me out, and that's free to do. You can also subscribe, become a creepy peep today. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can ring that notification bell down there to be notified every time I post a video, even though it doesn't always work. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.